Good evening. I'll be reading the introduction from The Art of Being and Becoming by Hazrat Inayat Khan. There's a difference between individuality and personality, as there is a difference between nature and art. As much as nature is near to man's soul, art is closer to his heart. If it were not so, man would have preferred to live in the forest. He would have roamed about in nature and would have been quite satisfied in the wilderness. He would have found the greatest charm in the beauty which is to be seen in the forest. But instead of all that, man has created a world for himself, and in that world he has made a nature of his own imagination, a nature which he calls art. If that is art, then on art much depends. People may say, is it not an imitation of nature? Yes, it is an imitation of nature. They might say, then it is not as great as nature. But I say both nature and art are made by the same artist. Nature is made directly by the artist, and art is made indirectly through the pen of the artist. Nevertheless, art is the finishing of that beauty which begins to manifest in nature. A person who has not come to this conception of art does not yet know the divinity of art. Coming to the question of what art has to do with personality, personality is art itself, and the greatest art. Once a person came to me and said, my parents brought me up just like a plant in the wilderness, growing naturally. I said, it is a great pity. And she was surprised. What is education? What is culture? What is self-development? It is all art. It is all the way for individuality to culminate in personality. In ancient times, religious education and human culture in every form had personal culture as their central theme. Today, we are expected to learn mathematics, geography, history, and never the art of personality, which is of greatest use in life, apart from its spiritual significance. In our everyday life, we see a salesman who is pleasant, who is courteous, whose manner is good, become a successful salesman. If a seller lacks manners, he is repellent. If he is repellent, though he may have beautiful things in his shop, he will have no success. If a clerk in an office, a secretary, an assistant, a supervisor has a charming personality, if he has a kindly manner, if he has a sympathetic attitude, he will win the affection of all, and everything will be light and go smoothly. If a person lacks the art of personality, despite all the qualifications he may have, though he may be the most capable person, yet things will not run smoothly. And so it is at home. A person may be a barrister, a solicitor, a doctor, a most qualified person, but if the art of personality is not developed, he will be disagreeable and unpleasant in his own home and in all walks of life. The art of personality is the main thing to develop. And if it is not developed, a person has missed a great deal. If the love of this art has not been given, then what happens? The human being becomes no better than the lower creation. Is a human being greater because he possesses wealth, or because he has read many books, or because he has much learning? No. Man is greater when he has changed from an individual into a person. Very few of us distinguish between individuality and personality. Individuality is that which we have brought with us at birth. We are born as a separate entity. That in itself makes us an individuality. But personality is something that is acquired. It has not come with us. It is something we gain. If a tree from the forest grew in a garden in the same way, the gardener would say, "You're not welcome here. You do not fit in with the surroundings. This is a garden, not a forest." Moreover, the art of personality is not only something that a person should learn in order to become pleasant to others. The art of personality fulfills the purpose of life. Now comes the question, what is the art of personality? Is the art of personality mannerism? Is it putting on different ways of expression? Extra politeness? A society rhythm? Not at all. That is a falsehood that people adopt, being unnatural and acting unnaturally, but instead of giving a better impression, they give a worse one. It is something which expresses itself spontaneously. You do not need to act in a certain way. You do not need to put something on. It is the expression of yourself that is the art of personality. Moreover, it is the sign of the great that they express the art of personality. Whether knowingly or unknowingly, a person may have developed himself to that manner, and it is wonderful to watch. In India, I was very fond of seeing the celebrities of our country, and one day I heard that a great wrestler was visiting our town. I had never approved of something that makes one win and the other fail, but because this man was a celebrity, I wanted to see him. One would have expected very little from the personality of a wrestler, but in his personality, instead of muscular and nervous strength, there was such a kindly manner, such a sympathetic look, such an outgoing attitude, and such serenity that I thought even a wrestler who does the most material and physical work can show that it is his personality and not something material that has made him great. One might ask, if a person has a personality, why must he develop it? But even a diamond must be cut. It has the light in it, yet cutting is required. It cannot show that glow and that brilliancy before it has been cut. The same thing applies to personality. Then one may ask, how is personality regarded? In how many different aspects? The first aspect of personality is the action, the movement. Very often, before a person has spoken a word, he makes a movement that jars upon the delicate sensibility of a person who sees it, who may form an opinion of that person before he knows about him, only by his movement. In one movement, a person shows his state of mind, unless he has the power to control it. One can show stubbornness, weakness, foolishness. All things can be traced when a person walks or sits or stands up. For those who can recognize a person in the twinkling of an eye, it is not necessary to study physiognomy. One movement shows them whether a person is evolved or unevolved. And when his movements are not directed, when this science is not taught or understood, a person may make movements that will make an impression upon his spirit and turn his whole being into wrong. Very little attention has been given to this by education. That completes story time for today. May you find lasting happiness. Thanks for watching.